Hi, today we're going to talk about a super awesome, fun guy. His name is Louis Armstrong. A lot of people say Louis Armstrong, but you know what? It's Louis. You know how we know that? In your listening list, there's a song called Hello, Dolly. When he's singing to Barbra Streisand, he said, "This is Louis, darling." Listen to how he brings out the S. So let's say his name correctly. It's Louis Armstrong. He was born in New Orleans, Louisiana. Some people say 1900, but that's wrong too. He was born on August 4th, 1901, according to his church baptismal records. He had a very rough childhood. This is one thing I want you to remember about Louis Armstrong, and I want you to apply this to your life. Nobody had it harder as a young child than Louis Armstrong. His father left the family when he was a baby. His mother was always working in questionable places of employment. And so you know what? His grandmother watched him a lot. And then Louis Armstrong was taken in by an immigrant Jewish family. They loved him. They fed him. They educated him. They gave him a job. And you know what else they gave him? They gave him his first cornet. A cornet is like a softer trumpet. And he did very well. So Louis Armstrong, there he is. He's known for his big smile and his happy personality. Here is Mr. Armstrong as a younger gentleman, already accomplished on the musical scene. He loved kids. Look at these little boys. They want to be just like Mr. Armstrong. Louis Armstrong was just super nice. In fact, his smile was infectious. So much, his big smile, so much that they gave him nicknames. And one of his nicknames, because of his big smile, I love it. I hope we can all smile like him. It was Satchel Mouth. Well, there was a London reporter who's called him Satchmo instead of Satchel Mouth, and that's where we got the nickname for Louis Armstrong as Satchmo. Louis Armstrong actually picked that. He loved it. He said, "Okay, call me Satchmo." So that's how we got the name Satchmo for Louis Armstrong. He invented something called, wait for it, scat. Scat is a form of jazz singing where you're just making up syllables and they're not words. Just beep, bop, and long shout, jump, top, deep, top, making up things to the music. And it's funny how this happened. He was rehearsing and his music fell off the music stand. Well, Louis Armstrong, he forgot the words to the song, so he just started making up stuff and singing, and it was fantastic. And boom, scat jazz singing was born. I want you to listen for that in When the Saints Go Marching In, that Mr. Armstrong does with a gentleman named Danny Kaye, a fabulous singer. I want you to see how much they like each other. They're wonderful musicians. They were friends, and they just did a great job. And I picked this song, When the Saints Go Marching In. Listen to the second verse, because they start naming all kinds of composers. It's hysterical. You're going to love it. They named the Louisiana airport, New Orleans airport, after Louis Armstrong. He had over 60 albums, a lot. He played a lot. It's wonderful. You got to hear some of them. There's your listening list below. He was a philanthropist. He loved children, and he wanted to make sure that all children got the same opportunities that he had been given by the family that helped him out. So Louis Armstrong gave a lot of money, a lot of time, just helped out the community a lot. He was a wonderful, generous person. So even though he started out rough and he could have gotten bitter, he could have been sad his whole life, he chose not to. He said, "I'm good at music, I'm going to do this." And look what he did. It's fantastic. He was on television. He played for presidents. He played in Europe. And one of my favorite stories is this. He played for King George V of Great Britain. You're not supposed to talk to the king unless the king speaks to you first. And then when you're in an audience, when you're entertaining and the king is in the audience, you're not supposed to refer to the king. But Louis Armstrong was so nice and so gracious and so fun. Everybody loved him. he looked at the king and he said, "Hey, this one's for you, Rex." Rex is a title for a king. Isn't that funny? Well, anyway, it was okay because this was Louis Armstrong and everybody loved him. He was great. Enjoy your listening list. Louis Armstrong has a unique way of singing. It's a gravelly, low voice. It's fantastic. Play the trumpet, play the cornet, and you just love him. I hope you love him as much as I do. All right, enjoy Satchmo, guys. Bye-bye.